Starting off here, what pack are we picking? I like Rhino Spec, but I hate the units in it. Steel Balls are dead. I opted for Giant Spec despite not liking a lot of the other, or despite not liking Giant Spec pack very much. Generally, I just don't think, I think Storms are average. I would have liked to see Sledges. Sledges are so good in starting packs, so you really want to see that. Phoenixes are a little better than Storms. Um, but, you know, Storm, Crawler, I wish I had a slightly better spec than Giant Spec. Um, I do feel like heavy armor, supply, Rhino are maybe all slightly better. Aerial is definitely feels like it's better right now than those other ones. But you know, you can't be too upset with Giant spec. You'll probably use some Giants throughout the game. So my main thinking as I was going into this game is B-Man can play aggro or he can play standard. Obviously with steel balls, I'm a little worried that he's going to go aggro. It's like a usual sign that someone's aggroing. So I'm trying to position these storms in a way that if B-Man plays aggro, they're helpful. And just stopping right here, this is the best position should someone aggro you, in my opinion. I like to have the storms there. Why is that? Because they sort of end as a last line of chaff sometimes and buy you the extra few seconds you need to hold off the push and to save your tower. So this is where I sort of like to position if I'm anticipating aggro. But B-Man's so tricky, you just like never could know. He's not one of those people that if he's picking steel balls, he's going to aggro you for sure. Um, Additionally, if I'm defending aggro, I like to go fangs in a conga line fashion. I find that really helps um, funnel in aggro and limit a lot of the chaos. And it allows units that are good at holding off aggro to have some structure, aka a Vulcan, if everything's funneled into the middle, the Vulcan just stay where it is and just blast everything that's coming in, right? Or a boat. We've all seen crawlers just run past boats, and boats are shooting missiles over and over and over and over and missing the crawlers. But with the Fang Conga line, it can help, again, keep that boat sort of on target, clump up enemy units, and get the most value. So I like fangs, but I'm stuck with crawlers, right? So I put some good thought into where do I want to put these crawlers? Well, I tend to think that putting them in the flank defense positions can sometimes be nice. I was a little split here. I decided to do a coward split to test this game and see. This is why I like to put my storms in standard, and I'm sort of going to half deploy one side standard. And this is always a nice position for crawlers if you're anticipating aggro, because it'll always find a way to get involved like pretty soon. But these crawlers, as you can see, end up being quite poor. They're just going to sort of suicide into this Arclight. But it does negate like the options. He's going to be disincentivized from flanking on the side later. But still, on round one, you want as many units contributing as possible. To have one pack just doing nothing is a little sad. So I sort of picked wrongly here. It would have been pretty great if I had that crawler pack there, and it would have been great if I got if B-Man had started asymmetrically on this side. But that's not how it goes, which is fine. B-Man's start, just giving a quick review of that. We're doing the Fang Conga, as I said. That is my favorite. 6 seconds left, and I'm still placing units. Nicely done, Pants. I do like his position. His position is largely based off of the idea that he loses 2 squares on round one, so he doesn't want to have anything on the line, or he's like anticipating on dropping Chaff further forward later. So that's sort of where his position's at, and he's got a few squares in between his packs of fangs and his steel balls. I like that. Makes him pretty unscammable from the Stormcaller perspective. A lot of the splash won't really hit 2 packs at once. But we'll see. I think his position is good. The only thing that I don't like is this Arclight's so far back, and you'll see that plays out a little bit here over the course of this game. So going into the first round, seeing how it plays out, balls run in. I have the Fang pack sort of drawing the aggro in, right? So you can see they clump up a bit, which is going to be good for my storms. Ha, psych, just kidding. I think literally one of the storm missiles hit a single ball there. Otherwise, we whiffed on that super important barrage. Still haven't been able to kill another steel ball. So just getting some not so nice RNG. That will be sorted out later. That barrage wasn't the worst. But luckily, the reason that we didn't get absolutely destroyed was his Arclight was so far back that for quite a while the balls just sort of shot Chaff and that bought me quite a few extra volleys than I deserved. Storms coming in, or sorry, balls coming into the storms. Um, we have a handful of fangs to help out. Looks like it'll be just enough. We took the tower with the crawlers. Doesn't really matter. Arclight does not give a shit. We have one storm. Battle of the century. Who will win? Storm versus Arclight. Oh, baby. And it's the Arclight. We're tied at 4,500 HP. Very interesting pack here. Okay, so this pack is super fascinating. Very interesting decisions. So, I mean, I could pick all four of these up for different reasons. So let's think about it. What's a good unit at stopping a ball push? A Scorpion. Scorpion with maintenance, field maintenance, can sometimes just never die in the first like 4 rounds. In that case, heavy armor would be a great pickup and definitely a line to think about. Portable shield on any giant that I place down is going to obviously double their HP, which is nuts. Very good. Happens to also be good for B-Man as well. He's pretty happy to see that portable shield, and that's what I assume he's going to pick up. Mass-produced melting point is also definitely a line. Back in the day when Wraith pushes were quite a big deal, just like Wraith crawler pushes, mass-produced melting point was sort of a death sentence, I feel like, for them, because you could just spam enough mass-produced melting points with a sprinkle of Vulcans in there, and with crawler summoning, they just eventually killed everything. You would just get so many out. But I think the most safe play, obviously, is Senior Man. It's hard to say safe because I'm taking a tempo disadvantage. Heavy armor and portable shield would be the tempo plays. Senior Man is hopefully going to pay some dividends along the way. So I decide, as usual, to be greedy. Give me the Senior Man, I say. And then where do we go from here? I'm thinking, since he doesn't have Chaff so far forward, I usually would just think a Vulcan to handle all the chaff, but that can be a mistake. Don't blindly follow build orders. If you are not seeing chaff, appropriate amount of chaff to warrant a Vulcan, don't build a Vulcan. And B-Man's good enough that if I just put my Vulcan here, which is the usual position to pull it, what am I going to hit? I'm going to hit a pack of fangs, then I'm going to be locked on the steel balls. And then maybe I'll clear this fangs afterwards if the balls don't kill me. Meanwhile, he's setting up a flank over here that my Vulcan won't participate in. And so again, I'm wise to the ways of the B-Man. He's a tricksy guy. And so now I'm saying, I'm just going to skip it. I'm going to go straight for the boat because the boat's always going to be good. I'm always going to be happy that I have the boat because in any ball push, the boat with chin gun just deletes the balls. Especially if you can get them stopped for a little bit on your fangs. But again, B-Man just being very smart. I love both of his deploys on the flanks. He's pulling these crawlers back, so they're not going to get to really help out in the fight. And then the steel balls, beaconed in. If they weren't beaconed, the Overlord would be much better. But for the most part, these steel balls are just going to outrun my missiles to where only one or two of them hit per volley. Now, the one thing that B-Man messed up on, and what is that? Well, the beacon unfortunately got stuck here, and he didn't bring it far enough down. If he brought it a little further down, that ball would have ran in and taken the tower, most likely. Most likely. I mean, how could he have known? It's not a big mistake, but I think just have it end right around here was the way to do it. Lessons learned. But for the most part, B-Man played this round great. His fangs are all coming in. They're going to kill my boat. On the way out, we get to kill another ball. But the beautiful thing about holding off aggro pushes with Stormcallers is your weak side, Stormcallers, right, end up usually doing a pretty damn good job of cleaning up a lot of the stuff that got through your strong side. So you can see we almost killed these balls, and if we did, we would have actually won the round. We're going to lose the round by just a little bit, but we'll clean up a few extra bits of damage. So maybe 500 damage done by B-Man. Not a big deal. Now we got the picks. What do we want? So I think, again, a very interesting round, or another very interesting decision. My main thoughts here is I am already Giant Spec. So as Giant Spec, I'm not getting as much value as I usually would with the Vulcan pickup or with the Melting Point pickup. I can pick those up later. I already said that I'm thinking about a Vulcan, but there's no rush. I can always pay for that Vulcan later. I already have the sell button. And I don't, if you think about how many units on this board I want to sell, over the long run, well, I'm going to sell these crawlers because they're just running into their death against the Arclight. So those are getting sold. And I'll probably eventually sell these storms when they stop to be good. But I have plenty of room to sell stuff in the future. It's not like I have a long list of things that I need to sell. So I decided to go with the speculative, a cheeky little play of saying I'm going to go Rhino on this side. With the Rhino right on the line, the storms are going to shoot up at that Rhino. They're going to kill the crawlers pretty quick. And then I hope that the storms will also push up and help me clear this Fang Pack pretty quick. And then the Rhino will come truck this Arclight and take the tower. That's sort of the vision there. And then I'm hoping that he has to overcommit more on this side to play around my Rhino. So I decided to go with the skip on the Vulcan for now. And again, that's because I don't really see a lot of chaff. Like the Vulcan, based on B-Man's positioning, and this is a lot of credit to B-Man, is if I put it here, I will kill maybe 2 packs of Fangs. If I put it here, I'll kill maybe 2 packs of Fangs. There's nowhere that Vulcan's getting a lot of value. If I put it here, I'll kill 2 packs of Chaff. But paying 400 to clear 200 credits worth of Chaff is usually just not very good as a Vulcan. It doesn't, if that's all it's doing, it's not really worth it. You'd rather have other things. So speeding along now, B-Man decides to go with the Marksman, and I love this pickup from him. Marksmen are quite nice into Overlords. The only thing that you have to play around with the Marksman is what if I take Mothership. So he does need to make sure that he's going to have an answer for the Wasps later. But you'll see he does, as per usual from clever B-Man. Chuck my Rhino down on the front, decide more boats. Now the positioning on this is quite tricky. Where do I want to put these boats? If I end up putting the boats too far clumped together, now I have no room for my Vulcan. And what you always want is you want your single target damage, which in this case is going to be my Overlord, paired with your chaff clear. And so if I just tuck it in right here, then it's I'm not going to have room for my chaff clearing unit later, and my boats are not going to be fighting super efficiently. On the flip side, if I put it somewhere like back here, well, then it's going to be pulled to the flank, and now I'm going to have one boat just sort of shooting at a pack of Fangs. And like I said earlier, I plan on building a Vulcan at some point probably if I need shaft clear, and I want it to really be, you want those Vulcans, where they just, boom, they burn everything super fast. And so I really don't want to ever have to build a Vulcan in this area, because it's just not going to get a whole lot of value. So I decide a boat on this side. Upon further inspection, maybe it could have been a boat here. My main reasoning with that is as these balls push in, you always want to have the unit that you, like if you're buying a unit to kill a specific enemy unit, line those 2 units up. As a general rule of thumb, that's not always true, but as a general rule of thumb, line up the unit that is supposed to, if you're buying this to kill this unit, line it up directly in front of it, right? Do not line it up with the Fangs, because the Fangs are going to distract it, and you're going to have the unit shooting the wrong unit. So I think this could have been further inside, perhaps, and then I could put a Vulcan on the left and a Vulcan on the right of this boat. I'm hoping to only have to deploy, 1 Vulcan over the course of the game, maybe 2, maybe 3, but I really don't want to have too many Vulcans. So not too sure. Tough lines. But moving on, my last boat, I decided just to back up the Rhino with. I think this boat will always be good throughout the game. B-Man's not really the type of person to push everything into one corner. He likes to spread out and take advantage of all the different flanks. And so I figure I'm never going to really regret this boat. And that's what a lot of these placements are at this stage in the game is, where can I place units where I'm not going to regret them later? That they'll always be in a fairly good position despite what happens later in the game. My boat ends up killing 1 blue ball. Still not killing this. B-Man having these balls run at a slightly better angle means that they weren't taking shots on the way down. Now they're starting to take a few shots. It's getting close. The orange Rhino is just cleaning up chaff. He's not really providing any value yet, aside from some tankage. We end up clearing both packs of balls, but then our units quickly die to the Marksman Fang combo. And seeing that he took Fang range, now I know his answer to my Wasps in the future, if I decide to go Mothership, is going to just be Fangs. He's going to go half Fang carry, half anti-air Marksman, and that's his answer to my boats. And that's a damn good answer. At this point, I was a little worried. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do to counter that. But I think first things first, let's see what cards pop up. and let's take it one step at a time. Okay, so we're clearing through some of these fangs. Not looking too bad. And we can clear the Arclight nicely, and it looks like we're going to win the round by a pack of Stormcallers. So not bad, but all we're really trying to do, because what did we do? We took Senior Man combined with Giant Specs, so we're going to have an econ lead over B-Man over the course of the game. And so we're just looking to trade rounds out. We're not really looking to win. We're just looking to make sure that we don't get outscaled in the long term. Now, I was super tempted by Super Heavy Armor because now that I'm playing a comp of like a lot of giants, that's always going to be pretty good. In addition to that, the tempting thing is to chuck it on this Rhino, right? Imagine level 3 Rhino, super heavy armor, and I take field maintenance. That thing's not going to die to anything that is not a ball, a steel ball, that's locked on for like 10 seconds, or a melting point. Those are the only things that are going to be able to kill such a behemoth. That's pretty sweet, but it's so much money. Having to pay 300 for the super heavy armor, 350, sorry, plus 300 more, 750, sorry, 650 for a great Rhino that can be countered though by a boat. Like, I don't really want to. I don't really want to. I'm not going to commit that much into it. I think I'm quite curious how it would have gone though if I did go down that route. Now, I assumed all of this was going to basically be skipped by B-Man, so I just decided to move on. I decided to skip, just going to go back into econing. And now I think it's time to probably figure out an answer to the Chaff. You have to get Chaff clear over the course of the game, and I'm absolutely going to cry if Overlords are my only form of Chaff clear. So try to figure out what I want. I decided I want one Fang to deal with specifically this. It's an extension of the conga line, right? So the conga line here is funneling all these units directly into it. I sort of wanted to do something similar on this side to where these Fangs are all going to shoot at the same Fang pack. They're going to shoot at this tip. So both of these Fangs are sort of going to converge this way into a singular Fang pack. Let's see if I fix my positioning to do sort of what I wanted. And this is where I decided, okay, this is about best. He's going to have these balls run down here, and I want these chin gun boats to shoot at them. It's going to get a few volleys off over here, which is going to be sad. I don't like shooting this Fang pack with boats. But at least on the bright side, yeah, the Fangs are tanking a good amount from his Fangs. Now my boat turns around. It actually doesn't have a turn speed, if I'm correct. Like, it shows a visual one, but I think it just starts shooting if there's a unit behind it. Anyways, killed those balls much quicker than previously, but oh, I think I even built yeah, I didn't build a chaff clear unit yet. I was trying to delay it one more round, hoping that I could get maybe some chaff clear offered on round 5 freebie unit drop. You can see this is a pretty painful round for us. Yeah, and that hurts. But again, we're trying to figure out, all right, what are we doing for chaff clear? We got to do something. B-Man won that. He's got me down right below 3k HP, and I didn't realize that at the time, but B-Man has decided, okay, it's go time. He's, I think, gonna make his big push. I decided to hedge my bets. I'm not gonna completely skip. I'm gonna go underground threat. I think, you know, he's got nothing back here. Even if he throws some fangs back here, it's going to take quite a while for them to kill the underground crawlers. And you get the spell back pretty quickly. It's only every 3 rounds. So I figure I get 2 uses out of it. That's going to be worth it. Now, I believe this is the round where I'm like, okay, I have to get some chaff clear. Now, I need to get chaff clear. It's non-negotiable. So I'm hoping that ranged Vulcans are going to be the way to go, where they can quickly torch some of these fangs. They can then turn around, torch those fangs, and then they can torch those fangs, and that's not that bad. I decided to go 3 Vulcans, and it's iffy. He's starting to build more fangs, and he's going to rely on those for fang carry. And so I really have to have a definitive answer, and I've decided my definitive answer against your fang carry DPS strategy is I'm just going to go 3 Vulcans, and I'm going to hope if I support them properly with boats, it's going to be pretty good. I also feel like Vulcans are not that bad into anti-air marksmen. Like, they're going to have to really get some levels to end up doing much against the Vulcans DPS-wise. So I'm pretty comfortable that the Vulcans are going to end up making great tanks in the future if I can ever get a level on him. Yeah, so B-Man did decide to go all in, and all he saw was 3 boats here with Chin Gun, but he's like, screw it, I'm gonna just plop down EMP, which is an expensive spell, right? 250, I believe, for EMP, maybe 300. And he's gonna end up, getting it 100% right. He's gonna nuke my Vulcans that I just put range on, and that's gonna really hurt how this round was supposed to go. He's also starting to stack some serious levels. Getting a level 3 Fang is going to pump out some serious damage. So it's starting to get dicey all of a sudden. I see this spell, and I immediately shit myself. This is not what I want to see. Having my Vulcan's range turned off really changes this. And now my boats are not going to very efficiently be able to handle these steel balls. On the left side, though, this pairing, right? So we got our chaff clear, and we got our single target damage, and it's just that simple. The crawlers end up not doing much, but buying some degree of time, right? Hoping we can kill a little bit more of this before it goes down, but the anti-air marks that he teched are going to end up deleting my boat pretty quickly. Hopefully we can kill a few of these fangs. It would be nice. We'd love to get the level on this Vulcan, but no, we get stuck on the bubble instead. Our Overlord is looking good, except it extends a little too far forward, outranges our chaff, and gets targeted by his marksman, and the boat is down at the same time that our tower is taken. Now it's up to this Vulcan who looks like he's going to die. But like I said, Vulcan's pretty tanky. And Marksman level 1 are going to take 5 years to clear it. So sadly enough for Mr. B, he's got some level 2 Marksman. But with this combo of just Vulcan and some Stormcallers, we're going to end up actually winning this round. And I think this is where you could say checkmate. As long as I play half decent from here, it's over. It's a wrap. You can't pay 250 for a spell and then lose that round. And on top of that, he lost a bubble he placed on the left over here. So he lost another 100. So this was it. This was backbreaking mode. Now I just got to play solid from here on out, and I think I got it. I had someone in chat point out to me, like, hey, why didn't you get Mustangs instead of Vulcans? And that's the classic answer versus Fangs. But I figured, hey, with Senior Man and Giant Spec, the free unlock on Vulcans, I think they're going to be better than Mustangs. But, interestingly enough, I get 5 Mustang packs offered to me immediately. I was quite tempted to go the Sledgehammer here as well, though, because if you think about it, if I get Sledgehammer with, say, the armor tech, what's going to deal good damage to that? What's going to efficiently chew through that? And the Vulcan is already my chaff clear, so I don't need more chaff clear in the form of Mustangs. But I decided, it's fine. The Mustangs are going to do a good job. They're the apex predator against Fangs. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Don't try and get too spicy. So he decides to pick up the Phoenix level 7 Elite Marksman. And what's the idea? It's simply that he's going to try and, I believe, split these Phoenixes, have one go down either route, and then anytime there's not a pack of chaff in front of these giants, that Phoenix will just one-tap it. 53k damage. Goodbye Vulcan level 1. One-shotted. It's a reasonable idea if he can get the chaff clear piece down. I think I, at this point, maybe acknowledge that. We'll see what I do, what I decide to build. And yes, I acknowledge that my one risk right now, my only risk, is if my chaff gets cleared. And he's got half-decent chaff clear. Level 3 Fangs are no slouches. They can seriously clear a lot of chaff fast. But I've decided, I think 3 packs of crawlers plus subterranean blitz. I think, again, when I'm talking about I have this in the bag, I won the last round, just play tight. Don't give him any explosive plays. And that's what I was thinking, is just get this next round. He's weak to having low chaff clear. Just buy 3 packs of chaff, have one good round, and stack good round on good round, and you're going to win in the long run. Don't look too far in the future, because you already have that advantage, but under your belt. So I placed my chaff, a little mixture. These guys are actually a little bit more forward. Want to make sure that, I just don't leave there any easy snipes on my units, and sure enough, that ended up being the right prediction. His Phoenixes are stuck on some Mustangs. They finally shot a boat, and then they're stuck back on Mustangs, versus most of my units are nicely protected over here. We are clearing everything on the right. We're starting to push in a little on the left, and now we have a bunch of Mustangs locked on to level 7 Phoenixes, and this is feeling great. We might not have the biggest win, but it's a pretty solid win, and that's the annoying thing playing against someone that's playing a lot of Giants is, man, Giants just deal so much HP damage. So did over 2,000 damage, and now we're just basically one solid round away from winning the game. So again, it's play tight, don't get too greedy, and this is where I'm super conflicted, because the spells that pop up here, or sorry, the cards that pop up here, are the epitome of greed versus tempo. Lightning Storm is, I think, the most expensive spell in the game. It's just sort of always good no matter what. There's no real way to play around Lightning Storm, and especially if you have some air units mixed in. Your air units are just dead. But we have so many units that could all use the attack modifier. Like, we just got 5 packs of Mustangs that all leveled. Senior attack is quite real. And so I say, I have 3k HP. I think I'm fine. If I look at his board and I think of how good a Lightning Storm is, he could place down one more bubble and he could be mostly good against Lightning Storm. It wouldn't have the most insane value, and I'm just not feeling optimistic it's going to kill this level 7 Phoenix. Or even B-Man sometimes plays around this. He sometimes acknowledges he's got a big weakness, he's too exposed, and he does something like beacon the Phoenix out of the storm, trying to predict what you're going to do. And so I just, I don't want to take a big risk here. I don't want to invest 400 into a Lightning Storm and maybe not finish my opponent off. So I say, okay, I think since the Lightning Storm is not very good, I'm just going to play around it myself, and I'm going to take Senior Attack, and I think I'm going to be able to play it slow and steady and close this game out from here. So let's see what happens. He picks up the Lightning Storm as I expected. As I was saying to my chat, B-Man picked up that spell aggressively earlier, and that's sort of a good sign that, you're going to expect your opponent. A good opponent will continue the same tactics. If they went aggro earlier, they're going to go aggro still. They're going to stay consistent. B-Man knows he's on the back foot, and he needs a change of momentum, so he's going to go all in. So I'm protecting a few of my units. I don't want to go too overboard with the amount of bubbles that I place down, but I think 2 bubbles from now. Let's see where the money goes. I decided I want to protect this Mustang since I'm going to level it up to level 7. I am putting a crawler pack in front, I think, to make sure that this level 7 Phoenix does not kill this bubble immediately. And I literally bought, I think, 3 more packs of Chaff, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see how it goes. So the Lightning Storm isn't doing too much. It's sort of tickling these Overlords. But those Overlords are actually pretty useless at this point. The Marksmen have gotten levels. With their anti-air spec, they are already chewing through those boats. But the boats got just enough. Luckily, the Crawler's overwhelmed on the left. He never was able to really get a great Chaff clear option on the left. And Crawlers overran. Mustangs cleaned up. Got a few Vulcans left. And I think that is it. Yep. So that was it. That was the game.